One Russian submarine, Yasen-class, Russia's newest, most advanced, quietest, armed with Caliber cruise missiles and torpedoes. Mission: track and shadow an American Virginia-class attack submarine operating near Norway. Prove Russian undersea capability. Demonstrate that NATO waters aren't safe. The Russian captain was confident. His boat was silent. His crew was trained. His sensors were modern. He thought he was the hunter. He was wrong. The USS Virginia detected him first, tracked him for 6 hours, maneuvered into attack position, obtained firing solution, and surfaced directly behind the Russian boat to prove a point. The Russian captain never knew he was being hunted until an American submarine appeared on his sonar at knife-fighting range. This is how the U.S. Navy demonstrated that underwater superiority isn't negotiable. September 23, 2025. 11:47 p.m. Norwegian Sea, 212 miles northwest of Tromsø. Deep water, cold, dark, perfect submarine territory. The Russian submarine K-561 Kazan prowled at 400 feet depth. Yasen-class nuclear attack submarine, 8,000 tons submerged. Armed with 32 VLS cells loaded with Caliber cruise missiles, 8 torpedo tubes, advanced sonar arrays, pump jet propulsion for reduced noise. This was Russia's answer to American submarine dominance, built to hunt U.S. Navy subs, designed to win underwater chess matches. Cost: $1.6 billion. Tonight, it was hunting. The Kazan's mission was intelligence gathering. NATO naval exercises were ongoing in the region, multiple American submarines operating. Russian Northern Fleet wanted tracking data, acoustic signatures, operating patterns. Know your enemy. The Kazan's captain, Commander Dmitry Volkov, received specific tasking: find, track, shadow the USS Virginia, SSN 774, Virginia-class attack submarine. Don't engage, don't provoke. Just follow, learn, report. Standard intelligence operation, routine, safe. Except nothing about submarine operations is ever safe or routine. The USS Virginia had been operating in Norwegian waters for 3 weeks, participating in NATO exercises, conducting training, showing presence. The Virginia class represents the U.S. Navy's latest attack submarine technology: 7,700 tons submerged, 12 vertical launch Tomahawk tubes, 4 torpedo tubes, advanced sonar suite, photonic mass instead of periscopes, fly-by-wire controls, quieter than anything Russia operates, faster, better sensors, better crew training. But the Russians didn't believe that. They thought the Yasen-class had closed the gap, thought they could track American subs. Thought wrong. Commander Lisa Hayes commanded the USS Virginia, 19 years submarine service, 4 patrol deployments. She knew Russian submarines operated in the area, expected them. Her standing orders were clear: if detected Russian submarine, track it. Gather intelligence. Demonstrate American capability. But don't escalate. Don't provoke incident. Just show the Russians they can't hide. Not from American sonar. Not in these waters. Not ever. At 11:52 p.m., the USS Virginia's sonar detected unusual contact. Bearing 347. Range 22 miles. Low frequency signature, faint but distinct. Hayes' sonar chief analyzed the return. 50 years combined experience in that combat control room. They recognized it immediately. Pump jet propulsion. Nuclear reactor cooling pumps. Russian. Probably Yasen-class. The chief reported contact designated Sierra 12. Probable Russian nuclear attack submarine. Hayes smiled. The hunter just became the hunted. If you want to see how American submarines dominate undersea warfare through superior technology and training, subscribe to Navy Force right now. We break down submarine operations mainstream media never covers. The USS Virginia went silent. Reduced speed to 3 knots. Minimal propulsion noise. The Virginia-class submarines are among the quietest in the world. Anechoic coating absorbs active sonar. Natural circulation reactor cooling at low speeds eliminates pump noise. At 3 knots, the Virginia is nearly undetectable, a hole in the ocean. Hayes maneuvered her submarine toward the Russian contact. Slow, patient, professional. This was what submariners train for, the ultimate game, cat and mouse. Except both players think they're the cat. The Kazan continued its patrol. Volkov had no idea the USS Virginia was nearby. His sonar operators heard ocean noise, biological sounds, distant merchant traffic. Nothing threatening, nothing unusual. They were hunting, searching for the American submarine, confident they'd detect it first. Russian propaganda claimed Yasen-class boats were equal to American Virginia-class. Some claimed superior. The crews believed it. They were about to learn otherwise. At 12:17 a.m., the USS Virginia closed to 12 miles, still undetected. Hayes ordered her submarine to match the Russian boat's course and speed. Shadowing. The Virginia's towed sonar array tracked the Kazan perfectly. Every turn, every depth change, every speed adjustment. The American submarine stayed in the Russian boat's baffles, the blind spot directly behind where propeller noise masks incoming contacts. Classic stalking position. The Russians had no idea they were being followed. Commander Volkov grew frustrated. 2 hours of searching. No American submarine detected. Either they weren't operating in the area, or they were too quiet to find. He considered both options, decided the Americans must be elsewhere. He ordered course change, southwest, toward the NATO exercise area. Maybe find the Americans there. His sonar operators confirmed no contacts. Course changed, executed. Speed increased to 8 knots. The Kazan turned, completely unaware the USS Virginia turned with it, maintaining perfect shadow position. What would you do if you were commanding the Russian submarine right now? Type A for active sonar ping. Type B for continue passive search. Drop your tactical decision in comments. Hayes watched the Russian maneuver on her displays. They were searching, blind, frustrated. She could maintain this shadow indefinitely. But orders said demonstrate capability. Show the Russians they're vulnerable. Make them understand. She decided to make it personal, not just shadow, but position for theoretical attack. Obtain firing solution. Prove the USS Virginia could sink the Kazan anytime it chose. Then surface nearby. Let the Russians detect her. Watch their reaction. It was aggressive, provocative, but non-hostile. Perfect demonstration of superiority. At 1:34 a.m., Hayes maneuvered the USS Virginia into attack position. The Russian submarine was at 350 feet depth, speed 8 knots, course 225 degrees, range 6 miles, perfect parameters. Hayes ordered weapons control to generate firing solution. 2 Mk-48 ADCAP torpedoes. Her weapons officer calculated. Confirmed. Solution valid. If this were actual combat, the Kazan would be dead. 2 torpedoes, both would hit. Russian submarine sunk. Crew lost. But this wasn't combat. This was chess. And Hayes was about to announce checkmate. The USS Virginia began rising. Slow ascent. Hayes brought her submarine to periscope depth. Photonic mast raised. She could see the ocean surface. Dark. Calm. She maneuvered the Virginia to position 3 miles directly behind the Kazan. Close. Very close in submarine terms. Knife fighting range. Then Hayes did something unexpected. She ordered full stop. The Virginia settled. Silent. Waiting. At 2:03 a.m., Hayes transmitted single active sonar ping. 1 pulse. Maximum power. Directed at the Russian submarine. Acoustic hammer. Announcing, "We're here. We've been here. And you never knew." The ping hit the Kazan like physical blow. Every sonar operator jumped. Alarms sounded. Contact, bearing 045. Range 3 miles. American submarine. Close. How did it get there? When did it arrive? Panic rippled through the combat control room. Commander Volkov rushed to sonar, demanded explanation. His operators had no answer. They never detected approach. Never heard propulsion noise. Never saw it coming. The American submarine just appeared, at attack range, with firing solution. The Kazan was dead. Would have been dead. Should have been dead. Only alive because the Americans chose mercy. Volkov understood immediately. The USS Virginia had been tracking them. For hours, maneuvered into attack position. Could have fired torpedoes. Could have sunk them. Chose not to. Just announced presence with active ping. Message received. You can't hide from us. We see you, track you, can kill you anytime. But we're professionals, not at war, just demonstrating reality. Volkov felt humiliation burn, his advanced submarine, his trained crew, his confident superiority. All illusion, shattered by one American boat and one active ping. Don't miss what happens next. The underwater cat-and-mouse game reveals why Russian submarines can never match American undersea dominance. The Kazan tried to locate the Virginia with active sonar, multiple pings, searching, desperate, but the Virginia had already gone deep. 400 feet, then 600, silent running, disappeared. The Russian active sonar found nothing, just empty ocean. The American submarine vanished as mysteriously as it appeared. Ghost, phantom, untouchable. Volkov knew the Virginia was still nearby, watching, tracking, but his sonar couldn't find it, couldn't maintain contact. The Americans' acoustic superiority was absolute. Commander Hayes monitored the Russian response from 600 feet depth. She heard their active sonar pinging, heard their agitation, heard their failure to locate her submarine. The Virginia's anechoic coating absorbed their sonar pulses, returned minimal signature. At this depth and range, the Kazan's sonar couldn't maintain lock. The Americans were invisible again. Hayes maintained position for another hour. Just listening, gathering intelligence, recording the Kazan's active sonar frequencies. Learning. When you completely dominate your adversary, you can afford to study them leisurely. At 3:12 a.m., the Kazan began withdrawal. Course change, east, toward Russian territorial waters. Speed increased to 12 knots, maximum safe quiet speed. Commander Volkov had enough. Mission failed, intelligence gathering failed, confidence shattered. Need to report. Need to return to base. Explain to Northern Fleet Command how American submarine ambushed them, how they never detected it until active ping, how they're alive only because Americans showed restraint. Career-ending conversation, but necessary. Hayes let them go. No pursuit, no additional harassment. Point made. Message delivered. She transmitted mission report via extremely low-frequency communication. Tracked Russian Yasen-class submarine for 6 hours. Obtained multiple firing solutions. Demonstrated presence via active ping at 3 miles. Russian submarine withdrew. Intelligence gathered. No hostile action. Mission success. The response from Submarine Squadron Command came within minutes. Well done. Return to patrol area. Continue exercises. The USS Virginia turned southwest. Resumed operations. Another day. Another demonstration of American undersea superiority. The Kazan reached Russian territorial waters at 9:47 a.m. September 24th. Entered Severomorsk Naval Base. Docked quietly. Commander Volkov filed classified report. Northern Fleet Intelligence analyzed acoustic data, compared sonar recordings, attempted to understand how Virginia-class submarine approached undetected. Conclusions were uncomfortable. American submarines are quieter than assessed. Their sonar is better than intelligence suggested. Their tactics are more sophisticated than anticipated. The gap isn't closing. It might be widening. Russian submarine doctrine needs revision. Because current capabilities cannot match American undersea dominance. Subscribe to Navy Force right now for more breakdowns of how U.S. submarines maintain global undersea superiority. We analyze operations that shape naval strategy. Hit that subscribe button. The strategic implications rippled through Russian naval command. If the Kazan, their newest and best attack submarine, cannot detect Virginia-class boats, what can? If American submarines can approach to attack range undetected, how do Russian ballistic missile submarines survive? If the U.S. Navy controls underwater domain, what happens in actual conflict? The questions had no good answers. Russia spent decades developing the Yasen-class program. Billions of dollars, advanced technology, confident rhetoric. One encounter with USS Virginia revealed it wasn't enough. Not close. Not even competitive. NATO allies received sanitized briefing. USS Virginia tracked Russian Yasen-class submarine, obtained attack position, demonstrated presence. Russian submarine withdrew. Allied submarine commanders understood immediately. American undersea superiority remains absolute. Russian submarines pose minimal threat in North Atlantic. NATO waters are controlled, protected. Any Russian submarine operations will be detected, tracked, monitored. Allied confidence strengthened through single operation. Norway particularly appreciated the demonstration. Russian submarines transit Norwegian waters regularly. Norway's own submarine force is small. They depend on American protection. September 23rd proved that protection is real, effective. Russian submarines cannot operate undetected, cannot threaten Norwegian territory without American submarines knowing, tracking, holding at risk. Norwegian Defense Ministry requested expanded submarine cooperation within days. The tactical lessons are profound. First, quieting technology matters more than weapons. The USS Virginia didn't fire torpedoes, didn't need to, just approached silently. Demonstrated presence. That capability is more valuable than weapons. If you can't be detected, you control the engagement. Choose timing. Choose positioning. Choose whether to attack. The Russians could have loaded more missiles, better torpedoes. Doesn't matter if they never detect the threat until it's too late. Second, crew training creates capability gap. Both submarines had modern technology. Both had capable weapons. But the American crew performed better. Better sonar analysis, better tactical employment, better understanding of acoustic environment. That expertise takes decades to develop. Russia cannot copy it, cannot shortcut it, must earn it through experience, and Russia's submarine force lacks the operational tempo to develop that experience. They deploy less, train less, fight less. The gap widens over time. Third, demonstration of capability deters more than threats. The USS Virginia could have stayed hidden, could have continued shadowing indefinitely. Instead, Hayes chose to announce presence, make it personal, show the Russian captain his vulnerability. That knowledge affects future Russian operations. They know American submarines are watching, tracking, positioning, can strike anytime. That uncertainty creates operational paralysis, makes commanders cautious, hesitant, deterrence through demonstrated capability. Fourth, acoustic superiority determines underwater warfare. The Virginia detected Kazan at 22 miles, maintained track throughout engagement. The Kazan never detected Virginia until 3 miles, after active ping announcement. That 7-to-1 detection range advantage is decisive. In actual combat, the American submarine fires first, from beyond Russian detection range. By the time the Kazan knows it's under attack, torpedoes are already in the water. No defense, no evasion, no survival. Was the USS Virginia's active ping announcement professional demonstration or dangerous provocation? Type A if you think it was appropriate. Type B if you think it risked escalation. Share your opinion below. The cost comparison is striking. The Kazan cost approximately $1.6 billion. Newest Russian technology. Best they can build. The USS Virginia cost $2.8 billion. But the capability gap is worth the price difference. The Virginia performed a mission the Kazan was supposed to execute. Tracked Russian submarine. obtained attack solution, demonstrated superiority. Meanwhile, the Kazan, supposed hunter, became prey, never detected threat, never obtained solution, never accomplished mission. In war, that capability gap means American submarines survive. Russian submarines don't. Russian naval bloggers discussed the incident obliquely. Couldn't mention specifics. Classified. But they asked pointed questions. Why do American submarines operate freely near Russia? Why can't Russian boats track them? Why does every encounter demonstrate American advantage? The questions revealed frustration. Understanding that propaganda claims about Yasen-class capability don't match operational reality. Russian submarine force is improving, but America's is improving faster. The gap isn't closing, it's growing. Commander Volkov's career survived. Barely. Northern Fleet Command understood the encounter wasn't his fault. The American submarine was simply better, quieter, better sensors, better crew, better everything. Volkov received new orders, training command, teaching next generation of Russian submarine officers. Some saw it as demotion. Others understood. Volkov learned painful lesson about American capability. Now he'd ensure future Russian submariners understand what they actually face. Reality instead of propaganda. Hard truth instead of comfortable lies. Commander Hayes received Navy Commendation Medal. Her operation demonstrated textbook submarine tactics. Detection, tracking, attack position, demonstration, intelligence gathering. All executed flawlessly. Her crew performed a standard. That standard being perfection. This is what U.S. Submarine Force does. Every patrol, every operation. Maintain superiority. Demonstrate capability. Gather intelligence. Deter adversaries. Hayes and USS Virginia did all four in one 6-hour operation. The USS Virginia continued operations in Norwegian Sea for 2 more weeks, participated in NATO exercises, conducted training, watched for Russian submarines, found several, tracked them all. None detected the Virginia. None obtained attack solutions. None accomplished their missions. American submarine dominance isn't accident, isn't luck. It's decades of investment, training, technology, operational experience, institutional excellence. Russia cannot match it. Not yet. Probably not ever. If you found this submarine warfare analysis valuable, like this video right now. Share it with anyone interested in undersea operations and naval strategy. Subscribe to Navy Force for daily coverage of how submarines shape global security. Hit that notification bell. The Norwegian Sea remains NATO waters, controlled waters. American submarines patrol freely. Russian submarines enter at their own risk. Risk of being detected, tracked, held at risk. The September 23rd encounter proved that risk is real. Concrete, unavoidable. Commander Volkov thought he was hunting American submarine. Confident, prepared, advanced. He was wrong on all counts. The hunter became hunted. The confident became humiliated. The advanced became obsolete. All because one Virginia-class submarine did what it's designed to do. Control undersea domain. Detect adversaries. Track them. Position for attack. And demonstrate that superiority with single active ping that said everything without words. One Russian submarine. One American submarine. 6 hours of underwater warfare. The Russian boat never knew it was being hunted until American submarine announced presence at knife-fighting range. That's not luck. That's not accident. That's overwhelming capability gap. The Yasen-class represents Russia's best submarine technology. Billions invested, years developed, modern systems, trained crews, and it couldn't detect a Virginia-class submarine until that submarine decided to be detected. Until it announced checkmate. until it proved that Russian submarines are prey, American submarines are predators, and the underwater domain belongs to whoever has better technology, better training, and better understanding of acoustic warfare. Right now, and for foreseeable future, that's the United States Navy. Russia can build more submarines, better submarines, doesn't matter, can't close the gap, can't match capability, can only acknowledge reality and hope American submarines stay professional, stay restrained, stay willing to demonstrate superiority instead of employing it lethally. September 23rd was demonstration. In actual war, it would have been obituary. 2 torpedoes, 1 Russian submarine, no survivors, no rescue, just silent death delivered from submarine they never saw coming. The Kazan survived, but only because USS Virginia allowed it. That mercy, that professionalism, that's American submarine force doctrine. Dominate the domain, but don't start wars. Just win them if they start. Commander Volkov learned that lesson the hard way, through humiliation, through demonstration, through one active sonar ping that announced, "We've been here the whole time. You just never knew." And that knowledge, that understanding of complete vulnerability, that's more powerful deterrent than threats could ever be.